So in this random video, I'm going to take my lunch break. Hopefully I can get this done in wait, less than an hour. It shouldn't take me that long, but we shall see because I'm going cold turkey on this. So I got a reminder from Facebook about a year ago. I did like the first sneaker drop for the Boss Uncaged. And again, I just make random stuff and I kind of just co-brand and co-market everything that I'm doing collectively, whether it's a business strategy, whether it's a book, and I make merch for it. So today what I'm going to do, I think they got some new sneakers, so you guys can get to see a little bit of my back office of what I do when I'm creating this, or what I have my team do when I want them to create something. So I'm clicking on products, and I know they got a bunch of new products, and obviously this platform is Printful. I'll put that in the description as well so you guys can check this out. And this Printful store goes directly into Shopify. So as I can see, there are some new sneakers, like some new kicks, which are different than the canvas ones I had before. They're rubber based. They're a cheaper price point as well. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and just start. I'm going to select this one. And as you can see, it's telling me all the size options, which is cool. And then how am I going to design this bad boy? So right now I'm just going to overview. I'm looking to see, okay, if I put something here, this is what it's going to look like. This is the placement of it. And if I click on branding, it allows me to put like a little branded logo or whatever in the inside. So I got a left shoe, I got a right shoe. And that's pretty much it. So let's see what I'm going to throw in there. For this case, I probably just pull from my book design, the notebooks actually, which I already have some of them up here. So I'm just going to pull from that concept and see what it does. I'm just going to look at the sizes to make sure that they're all relative as far as high resolution. And this one is 600 DPI. That's the largest one I got. So I'm going to go ahead and hit apply for that one. I also got just a cover of the book as well. So I'm not sure which one I'm going to use. I'm going to try this one first and see what it does. So go ahead and close this. That's interesting that it fell right there. That's there. So what I'm going to do is I just want to see what it looks like mock up before I do anything else, just to kind of see what it looks like in the contour shape of the actual shoe before I actually get to design. So looking at it, I mean, well, shit, like right off top, I mean, I could be done. I mean, honestly, just looking at the way it dropped in, I mean, right there in the middle of the tongue has the Boss Uncaged logo. The stripes are pretty clean. I didn't expect it to be that easy, but honestly, I mean, I could play with it and kind of turn it sideways to see if I want to change the lines from going vertical to horizontal. But honestly, I like the way these lines look. I mean, like shit. Like all bullshit aside, I did not expect it to be that easy. So I'm just like, again, I'm just going through all the different viewpoints just to see what it looks like. And I have this little patch right here. I'm trying to see if I can get access to that little patch, because that would be something that I could actually put maybe a secondary logo in. And this is literally what I do. And I literally go through all of these variables just to kind of see what am I working with, like what access can I change, what can I add on, how do I visually make it a little bit different. And obviously these shoes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to design view, and I'm just for shits and giggles. Yep, I said shits and giggles. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this layer just in this place. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this layer, this one, and I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. And again, I'm just doing this just to see what it's going to look like visually. 90 degrees. And you can see this program is pretty robust, but there are some limitations to it. I mean, it's not like I'm designing in Photoshop. So I'm going to put this bad boy here. Maybe I'm going to try to make that label come out somewhere in there just to see, because again, I don't know, have no idea where this is going to show up on the shoe. And eventually, as I keep doing this, I'll be able to tell you exactly where things are going to show up on the shoe and how is it going to look. So for right now, I'm just previewing the mock-up, and what I'm pretty much doing is I'm rotating the lines. right? So in the original one, the lines were pretty much going across. So this one is more of a longitude line, which is interesting as well. But I think it gives too much contour, too much shapes, too many variables, so it may not look like a straight line. And having the logo upside down in the back, it just doesn't look as cool as the other one that we had. Now, right here it looks decent, but again, as it flexes and moves, there may be variables to that. So this is okay. But the beautiful part about this is I can create multiple versions, right? I can create a horizontal version, I can create a vertical version. So just looking at it from this standpoint, I think the lines are just too long. And when you have lines that are that long, if you have on a pair of socks, if you arch your ankles, whatever, then this shape will change and that line will change with the contour of the foot. So these are just the things that you need to think about when you're designing this type of stuff. So in my case, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove this one. I like this one. And maybe I'm going to add something in this section right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this on the right shoe. So now both shoes should have the same exact look and feel. If I click on that one, it should be the same exact look and feel. I'm going to look at the mock-up view again. And this is kind of like cooking, right? So if I'm a chef in the actual kitchen, again, you kind of want to know what things taste like before you actually do it. So you have to kind of keep putting the taste in there to do the taste buds. And I could tell you right now, like both of them being on the same side, I'm going to have to flip one, right? So I want one dead zone to be on the outside, like this one looks good, and then a dead zone on the outside. So all I need to do is probably flip that. But again, I want to look at the shoes. Like, what are they looking like? What are they looking like? All right, so you kind of see what I was talking about, like the shorter lines, they just go with the contour better than the longer lines. And again, it's a simple shoe. Click on that, click on that. You see that little bit right there? That's what I'm talking about. Like that little bit of design element to kind of break the plane. I like that. So maybe I may make this black. Maybe I may, put a logo in that. I haven't decided visually yet, but I'm just looking at it from the standpoint of like that to me just gives it just a little bit of something extra. Versus, I'm not saying this is bad. I'm saying that this is definitely cool as well. But from a design standpoint, I want to break the plane a little bit. And sometimes less could be more, but at the same time, I am just messing around for the sake of creating a brand new sneaker drop. So let me go back at the design view, and I mean, obviously, the standard thing I would do back here is to put the logo on that. So maybe in the front, maybe I just may leave it plain. I haven't decided yet. So let me go back to design view. Let me drop in the logo. So I know that this is the tongue. This is the print area. This is wrapping from the front. So that's that. So somewhere on this side is probably where I need to put the logo. Choose file. And you can kind of see I've obviously uploaded a lot of stuff in here. And the logo should be somewhere here. There we go. I'll probably use this one. It's 1,000 by 1,000 flat. I'll apply it. It's probably going to be massive. We made image large. Yep. So every once in a while something like this happens, I'll just for shits and giggles again go back to mock view. Because again, I don't know what that looks like on the shoe. It may be very cool, but until I actually physically see it, then I could, So I'm looking at it. It's interesting, but a bit much, right? And again, if I'm using this for marketing purposes for the book, and those that know, obviously there's a purple notebook that has lines in it, so I can do a grid, I can do a dot, I can do all these different versions of these shoes, and potentially, I know it sounds astronomical and probably batshit crazy, but imagine having a pair of shoes to match each one of the books. So technically speaking, I have 32 notebooks, then technically speaking, I should have 32 pair of sneakers, which is crazy, but like, I'm not saying to be facetious, but imagine, I'm going to a book signing and I have on the pair of shoes to match the book, right? So it's just these little details of like brand strategy, so that way you can at least make people go in their mind like, I didn't think about that. And the reason why they don't think about that, because most people are not most people are normal batshit crazy, and you have to be kind of out the box batshit crazy. You have to be willing to take the risks and do shit that other people will look at you and be like, not only a trendsetter, but I never would have thought about marketing a notebook through wearing sneakers. And again, I always say if I'm going to go out and buy sneakers anyway, why don't I just buy my own shit, brand it however I want to, and use it for a marketing tool, right? So imagine me walking into a meeting with these shoes on and the notebook to match it at the same time. And I sit down on the damn table. And it kind of just changes the dynamic of that conversation. People may look at you weird, they may look at you differently, but if nothing else, they will remember like that experience. So in this case, I'm just looking at the shoes and I'm moving through them. I mean, it's a cool concept, but it's not the direction I want to go in. I may do a variation of shoes because, again, I think I like these shoes way better than the canvas shoes, and I'm happy that they brought this to the table because now I could really freaking design whatever the hell I want to design on the fly and have it print on demand. So you can kind of see how drastically how these two shoes look completely different, right? So let me go back and let me shrink this bad boy down, and you kind of see the average is 45, so I'll need to adjust that to make it smaller. Transform, and I'm just gonna make it, say it's 22 inches, so let's say I want to make it 3 inches. Make sure it's locked ratio, make it 3 inches, and obviously that lock ratio should have worked. Now, obviously, if I'm going to put it on the side of the shoe, I should be able to rotate it 90 degrees. So the base of the logo should go to the base of the shoe. All right. So for right now, I'm not sure what that looks like. So again, I'm going to go back to the mock-up view just to kind of see if it falls in the back of the shoe or in the side of the shoe. Ideally, in this case, I want it to kind of be kind of near the back, but on the side, which is kind of close, right? So this is the view I'm going for. It's not a bad look, right? So I'm just looking at it. I think it's obviously too big. I like the tongue. The tongue is working for me. I mean, the fact that that tongue is sitting right there with the logo on it, I mean, that's definitely hot. That's sexy. It's just too big right there. It's just too big. Too big, too big, too big. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to shrink it down again. So it's at 2. I'm probably 3. I'm going to bring it down to 2. See what it looks like in a mock-up view. And again, I was hoping that I could be able to get this done in less than an hour. And, you know, obviously I got extra time because we're pretty close to, you know, getting this shoe up and running. All right, so that's interesting. Interesting. Is it falling where I want it to fall? Yes. Now I can kind of see it's kind of a slight of angle, which I do like because it's matching the lines. So the angle of the logo is going with the lines, which kind of gives it a little bit of movement. I just wanted to see what it looks like on all angles. So this is, now obviously I could put QR codes and I could put all this other stuff on this shoe as well. I would not, I mean, it's give or take. If you can make the QR codes look sexy on a shoe, I mean, you could try it. But for me, ideally, I'm just trying to brand it, and more so for someone to kind of ask about it. And then obviously the logo will kind of speak for itself in a period of time. Once someone sees the logo, they'll remember the logo. So now we have the logo placement on the tongue. We have the logo on the side. I still probably need a little bit of adjustment. So these are little details that you want to be mindful. See that spacing between the top and the bottom of the logo is not equally spaced. So probably what I need to do is either shrink that logo a little bit to give it a little bit of breathing room so it's not as big and it's not going into the actual bleed area. So I'm going to kind of click on here and I'm just going to kind of see what am I working with. All right, so it is close, but not close enough. So I'm going to go transform this bad boy. I'm going to make it 1.5, 1.5. All right, and then I'm just gonna slowly, I think I could tab it in here. Yep. So I am slowly tabbing it north. Well, in your case, it's going west to east, but in the actual 3D product, it should be south to north as far as top to bottom. And again, I'm looking at these dotted lines because these dotted lines are telling you the safe area, and I want the logo to be 100% in the safe area. I can obviously zoom in on my screen a little bit just to make it a little bit easier for me to see those lines. And again, if I could just make sure that it's right in the center, and if it's still too tight, what I'll probably do is just shrink it down a little bit. Again, that's 110, that's 100. I'm going to go ahead and transform. I'm going to make this bad boy 125 inches and click on that. So that should be, and again, I'm probably looking like a crackhead trying to zoom in because I'm just trying to make sure that it's in between the safe area. So now what I need to do is look at the position of it. And obviously I can't align it to that. So I need to look at transform. And this is where it kind of gets difficult because again, I'm tabbing it and I want it to be tabbed directly in the center. And it may not get it. It may get it close, but not exactly where I want it to be. So again, the mock-up view is what's going to save you every single time. Give it a time to preview. So my tongues are looking good. It doesn't look centered in the tongue on the left, but keep in mind I'm gonna have to flip this one anyway. So I'm just trying to get the alignment for this. Yep. So you see now how the spacing is a little bit more even on top and bottom. Let me see what it looks like on his foot. So now it looks a little bit too small, right? So I'm gonna go back in that bad boy, leave it exactly where it is, and I'm gonna go back to the 1.5, which would bring it right to the edge, which should give it enough room, breathing room, visibility. If I'm wearing a pair of jeans, it should sit on top and you should still be able to see the logo. And if you know anything about Boss Uncaged, then it will make perfect sense to see the logo very clearly. So boom, I think that is really close. I just need to shift it down because again, I want the spacing from the top and the bottom to be as close and equal as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this bad boy and I'm going to tap it down just one. And keep in mind, like tapping it down doesn't give me exact X and Y coordinates, which this is one of the drawbacks of this platform. If it had X and Y coordinates, it would have been so beautiful to be able to control it exactly where I want to position it on the shoe. But as you can see visually, it is pretty close to center. It's a little bit lower than higher, but ideally when a pair of jeans falls on top, you're not going to be able to tell. The vertical lines are looking good. I need to put this on both sides, and also I need to flip the background as well because I haven't decided what I was going to do with this spacing right here. Like I may put a number in there, and in this case I may put number 32 in there because again, 32 books. So when somebody asks me, why do you have number 32 on your shoe? What does that mean? Well, I produced 32 notebooks in 32 days, and these shoes are a representation of that. Boom. Conversation starter. I'm marketing, bitches. Holla at your boy, Church. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to duplicate this bad boy. And you just pretty much heard me go through my, like a case of my Tourette's, right? So duplicate this. I'm going to duplicate this on the left shoe. Let me see what the left shoe looks like. I may need to flip it. I think I should be able to flip both of them because let me see where, because again, left versus right, I need to make sure that they're like opposites. They need to be mirrors of each other and not identical to each other. So you can kind of see I have this and this. Let me see this. That's right. See how that's wrong? That's wrong. That's wrong. That's right on the, and this one is wrong. So it's on the inside. It's missing on this one. And so what I'm looking for is a continuity, right? So on this, on the inside is good, but this side, this is where the logo should be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the left. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select this, and there should be a way for me to flip it. And that's an undo, transform, flip horizontally, boom. So that's good. Now the next part that I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to flip this on its axis and then move it into position on the right hand side, pretty close to proximity to where it is. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it horizontally, or maybe I should flip it vertically. That's weird, but yeah, hey, as long as the image looks the way I want it to look, then I'm good. And I'm going to move it into location. All right. Again, I'm just going to go to mockup view just to make sure that it is looking the way it should look. And I'm actually looking forward to getting these shoes because I mean, obviously, I got the other shoes, the other ones from the graffiti style. So like, pretty much, I have a graffiti style brand, and I would say all the graffiti shoes are going to be in the canvas. Now I can say all my notebooks, these are the shoes to go with them. And you know, it may sound kind of crazy, but you know, ideally, I like the fact that I could brand my own shit down to whatever. I mean, like I had made a comment earlier today about if I could make toilet paper with the Boss Uncaged logo, I would. I mean, again, I'm paying for toilet paper anyway, so why would I not make everything I possibly can have my brand at scale, which means eventually food and everything else, which sounds astronomical, sounds crazy, sounds like too much. But again, if you're trying to build a brand that becomes like a brand legacy, you're going to have to kind of do these type of things to make sure that everyone like becomes highly aware of that particular brand. So again, this looks a lot better. The angle is actually pretty perfect. It's not square. It's actually going with the grid. I definitely like that. They're more centered on the top. If I look from the top down view, and again, you have to constantly keep doing this. And I'm trying to figure out because these are, if they're not centered, I need them to be the same catty corner. So the spacing from the black to there and the black to there is about the same. You look at them from the front. From the front, they're about the same, and it's kind of centered to that. And again, you're not going to really exactly know what's going on 100% until like the shoes actually come, right? So let me go back to this bad boy. Back to this bad boy. All right, it's looking good there. It's looking good there. You can see the symmetry. This spot is still available. And it's like, how do I mean, I could leave it plain, but I'm just going to test it and put something in there just to see. But I think just by leaving it solid purple like that gives it a cool little element as well. They're distributed equally on both sides. And I'm just, you know, I'm verifying the symmetry between the shoes. And that's probably the hardest part, is to make sure that these shoes are symmetrical. If you're going for symmetrical, if you're going asymmetrical, like I did with the graffiti ones, then it really doesn't matter. Because again, the graffiti is more so the eye-catching factor than the actual symmetry of the shoe. And these are all different things that you just need to think about. And again, I'm clicking through it like a psychopath because again, I'm trying to verify that all the conditional variables of the logo, the placement, are all in similar locations, and they all look like I'm counting the lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And these are just little things I'm just pointing out to you to make sure that once you're creating shoes like this, they're visually done as best as you can in this environment to make sure that the finished product comes out as you see it fit. So far we're about 22 minutes in. The shoe is looking pretty decent. And so what I'm going to do, it was another product that they had that I put in here. Let me see. Where was it? It was, I don't remember exactly where. I think I built it from scratch. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add text. And I don't remember the font that I picked the last time, so I'm just gonna have to like figure it out really quickly. And I can tell you it's probably a sans serif font, which is probably this one is probably the bold, eye-catching font, or even this one. But I'm probably gonna go with this one. And put random shit in there. I don't need that one. So I'm just going to select this, and I'm going to put the 32 like I said. There goes the green from the Boss Uncaged green. It's already right there. That's not it. Is that it? That's it. Probably a little bit darker. That's the right green. So this tool I'm using is called Eyedropper tool. It allows you to select the colors on the screen, which is a hell of a tool to have if you're looking for color sampling. So it's Eyedropper, and it's a Chrome plugin. So if the first time you've seen it, definitely go ahead and unlock it. There's a free version. That's the one I'm using. And again, I could just select that and select any color on the screen, and it'll sample that color in. So that's how, if you visually see all the stuff that I'm doing, like I'm designing them like this, it keeps everything on brand at 100%. So I never really have to worry about colors. I click into this bad boy. And then Can I? And you kind of see I'll probably work in too many environments to where I don't. So it looks like this may be my green already right here. 204, 269. Just want to make sure. Counterfeiter. Nah, it's this green. So this is the green. And again, I am just messing around just to see what would it look like. And if you think about like basketball shoes, you've probably seen this done a million times with shoes that have numbers on it. So it's kind of like a play on the concept that already exists. And I have no clue what that's going to look like. So I want to look at the mock-up view. Maybe it may be too much. Maybe it may be kind of interesting. So I could tell you right now, just like seeing that hint of green, it definitely pulls to the color. I just need to see what it looks like on all aspects of it. I think that little hint of green is a cool aspect. It's in a dark area. So you see, that's the issue right there. So I'm cropping off the 32. So what I'll do is I'll probably bring it up a little bit and see if I can make the font maybe a little bit bolder. But the fact that that 32 is in there and it brings a little bit of that color palette, it looks like, some Hulk shit, but reality, our color palettes are purple and green, blue and orange, and red and teal, and then black and white. So those are the color flavors of Boss Uncaged. So again, I could make all these different variables based upon the books, which also share the same exact colors as these shoes. So I'm just looking at it from all these different angles. That's 32. This one doesn't have one yet. This one has. So for me, I need, because right now it looks like 2-2. So I'm going to go ahead and make that adjustment. And I can kind of see the safe area, right? So I don't mind if it gets chopped off a little bit. I just want to make sure that the 3 is identifiable. And if it bleeds into the sole, I'm good with that, because that's just going to be part of the design element. So now I can see more. I can tell you it's way better now because I can see the top of that 3, and it kind of gives a 2-2 feel at the top, but I know on the side profile I can see some of that 3. So I may even bring it up a little bit closer to make it evened out. You can see the 32, and now it's starting to look like it's starting to come together, right? So it's like, all right, I got the white, I got the black, I got the blue, so it's a 4-color palette, but the main color strategy here is purple and green. And I mean, if I had more time, if I really wanted to, I could probably make that purple ring green, but I think just having that one element of green gives it just enough sex appeal to where I'm wearing my brand, I'm wearing my book, and I'm marketing all at the same time, all for shits and giggles. And it took me so far less than 30 minutes of getting this shit up and running. And then obviously for pricing, and again, I'm very transparent, so I can go ahead and talk about pricing for this model as well. I think the other shoes are, how much are my other shoes? Let me bring them up real quick. Store. If the margins are there, I could probably make the shoes the same price. So these are $67.95. And again, this is not necessarily for profit. It's more so for like marketing, but I need to at least cover the cost to get these shoes created and delivered and everything else. So, I mean, I could easily jump up the price, and it's more so a supply and demand, but for right now, it's just more so a branding strategy. So these new shoes, because they're a variable, I'm going to try to be within this price. I'm going to try to make them $67.95. And because, again, the more shoes you buy, the more marketing we have and the more design I can match to your book. So if someone buys a purple book, imagine if someone buys 20 books and I'm saying, okay, you bought 20 books. Now you get a free pair of shoes to match. Or if you buy a pair of shoes, you'll get, if you buy 2 shoes or 1 shoe or whatever, you'll get a couple of notebooks to match each one of the shoes. Like, these are all like the packaging and the strategy from the marketing to kind of think about it. You have to think about it from like a brand standpoint. If someone is definitely involved with your brand and they like what you're doing, they like your consumable items, and they like your products and you like your showcasing, then you're integrating between a service. Like, my notebooks is essentially a buy-in service to say, hey, you could document what you're learning and capturing from Boss Uncaged, and then not only that, now you could actually have a pair of shoes to go with your notebook, or you could have multiple shoes to match each one of your notebooks for each one of your meetings. And by default, they're marketing you, but they're also taking the ownership of their strategy in their business, because again, they're documenting that notebook. And again, somebody's going to make a comment when they see that notebook and they see the books that match. So again, this is like a I'm hearing voices and I'm playing chess all the time. This is just part of what I'm doing, right? So going back to this 32, I kind of went off on a essay here's voices tangent. Tap it up a little bit, tap it up just one more, and I may shrink the font down, or I may change the font. I think that's the other thing. Let me see if there's any more options in here that's just bolder. So this to me is bolder, and I can tell you that that's probably going to be a better font just to go bold. But now I see issues with that font because the damn 3, the 3 is a little bit too thick. Ain't that but a bitch. So let's go back to fonts. So right now I'm just playing the font game. And this is the problem with this particular platform. Ideally, if I could load my own fonts in here, I would have been done already because I already have my fonts for Boss Uncaged brand. So I'm trying to match fonts as much as I possibly can. I mean, I do like this 3 better than that 3. So this is where the time suck starts to happen. Maybe this one. Oh, that's the other thing too. With this, you can only do 5 layers, so that's why it got grayed out. So if I double click on this one and I say see more, scroll down to see more. Let's see, that's that curly shit. I don't want that. That R looks too suspect, but let me put 32 in there and see what happens. The 3 is okay, but the 2 is not. So this is where I'm like, okay, maybe what I have may be the best font, which is, it's not the worst font on the damn planet, but it's just not 100% on brand font. And I try to make everything I do 100% on brand. But this is some of the limitations that you're going to face when you're inside these type of environments. So I'm just going to scroll through just to make sure that, see, this font may be close to the font that I'm using for the Boss Uncaged font itself. Just want to verify. Again, I'm not using like all these gaudy, overly designed fonts, clean and simple. So honestly, hopefully this font, if this font doesn't work, I'm just going to stay with the font that I have. So this is the one I'm going to go with. And the reason I'm looking at it is like the letters are balanced letters. The R is a little top heavy, but it means that the 3 and the 2 should be pretty. Nope, they jacked up that font as well too when they went into the numbers. You see how heavy that 2 is at the top? That shit is hideous. Yeah, I said it. So ideally, the one that I have is the font that I'm going to have to stick with, and I just need to kind of document that font. Just look at it visually to make sure if I create any other products, I'm using the same exact font. I guess I had clicked more, and it's not this one. Well, the good thing is I could copy this font over. Let me click on font. So that's the font that it's using. Maybe. So visually, again, I'm just going through here to see if I could find a bold font. I mean, I'm even good with just straight up Arial. So there goes my bad boy right there, because I've used this font on print stuff for Boss Uncaged before. So let me change that, and you can see dynamically that's the font that I'm probably going to use, because there's a font that I used before on Boss Uncaged, and that 3 has like that contour circle shape that matches the contour circles of the logo. The linear lines are hard, but then they go to soft. And again, these are just things from a design standpoint that you may or may not think about, but ideally you should think about. And if you can't think about them and it makes your head hurts and you get stressed out thinking about it, then hire a graphic designer. So now I'm going to shrink down the font. I'm probably going to get it down to 1.5. 1.5 should give me exactly what I want. All right, and now so I'm just going to look at the spacing of it. I'm going to tap that bad boy up. Now keep in mind, whatever I do here, I'm going to have to mimic on the other side. So let's go ahead and clone it, duplicate it onto the right shoe, And then I'm going to go to the right shoe. And this is it. So I need to make sure that I rotate it 90 degrees. Well, actually 180 degrees, so it flips right side up. So I just need to go to transform, and so it's either going to be 0 or 90. So 90 it is, and then I just need to put it. So I know the vertical should be good. I just need to make sure that the horizontal is in alignment to the other side. And this is where it kind of gets dangerous, because getting it to the exact X, Y, and Z is a little bit difficult. And I also have to make sure that this 2 doesn't get cut off 100%. So I need to go back to the mock-up view. So we're 35 minutes in so far. And again, I just went in cold. I had no concept really. I just designing off the top of my head. But usually I'll sketch something out. I'll have something in my notebook to make sure that it follows the requirements of what I want to do. So this is interesting. I'm just making sure that it fits well. Has 32 there. The logos are the same. Has 32 on both sides. This 32 is a little bit, okay, I get it now. So this 2 is getting cut, but the 3 is getting cut right here because I flipped it. But the orientations is right. Orientations are right. See, the spacing on this one is a little bit off. And I'm talking about the spacing. See at the top of it versus the side of it. And I just need to make sure to verify. So this shoe is a little bit higher than it needs to be. And again, it's going to be difficult for me to bring that bad boy down exactly where I want it to be. But I also like the fact that they're in an angle, right? So they're angled to match the angle of the lines and to match the angle of the logo as well. All right. So this is 32. And again, I'm just going through all the variables to make sure that it's as close as humanly possible to what I want the finished product to look like. Yep, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it down on both shoes. I want a little bit more of it to be cropped, and that's just for like a dynamic thing. I don't want the whole 32 just to show up in the space just floating around. I want it to actually go in. If it was up to me, if I could, I would bleed the 32 off the edge of the white and have it come down. So I'm just making sure that, see that spacing, that breathing room around the 32 looks better. The breathing room around that 32 looks better. Looks good there. Oh, ish. 32 is looking good there. And we're getting close, people. 32. Okay. 32. That's good right there. That is good right there. That is, oh shit. We are close, player. All right, so in less than 40 minutes, I would say that this shoe is essentially where it needs to be as far as being designed. It's looking pretty decent. Again, it's like this whole, like it's kind of like if you're a carpenter, you have to measure 1,000 times, cut once, and that's what I'm trying to do. But the beautiful part is I could always go back in there and update them once a shoe comes if something is wrong with it, if designs are off. So ideally, I could manipulate that. But from right here, it's looking pretty decent. And then what I could also do with these images is I could put the notebook inside with the shoes. So the notebook, obviously the vertical lines are gonna be running horizontal, but this is running vertical, so you can kind of just get like a push and pull. And when I do the grid, when I do the dot version, it'll probably be pretty sexy as well too. So and keep in mind, these shoes do not have to look like Jordans or Adidas. You want to make them look like something that you will wear, something that your consumers will wear. In this case, these shoes, the ones I'm showing you right now, are essentially designed for good old essay. But ideally, if someone likes them, hey, by all means, buy them. But again, I am designing these to buy these to use these for marketing, for branding purposes, versus me going into the store to look for a pair of purple shoes, or me going into the store to look for a pair of shoes that may have a 32 on it. And again, this shoe is 100% branded and color is going to be matched to the books. So again, if I have the book in my hand, I have the shoes on, by default someone's just going to ask a question like dude, how, what the and that's what I want. I want that what the fuck, Matt, because then I can talk to them about what we can do for them if we're doing it for ourselves. Again, you have to be a walking billboard for your own marketing, your own services. And in this case, I'm creating like so many different products that they're all, drop shipped. I don't have any overhead. I'm just creating them on the fly. So let's go ahead and let me make sure design view. All right, so it's saying I can save it as a template, which I definitely want to do. I want to save it as a template because that way I can make more shoes of it later. All right, it saves that for template. So later on, all I have to do is really come in and swap out these images, swap out these colors, and swap out the coloring, but everything's in place. So now I can go from one shoe to 32 shoes like that. I'm going to proceed to media. So this is where I'm actually selecting the media. Now in here, they're not going to show you the exact media, but they'll show you like the shoe before the actual illustrations laid on top. So in this case, what I'm going to do, because like I said before, I'm probably going to take some of these shoes and put them with the books as well. That's going to be interesting right here with that purple on top. And since that's one of our color schemes, I don't know why there's a dog in my picture, but there's a dog and it better not pee in my shoes. This is interesting. I'm looking at additional shots. So what I'm going to do is, these are all the mock-ups. I'm going to pick PNG, which is going to be a larger image, but ideally that way I can use these images to put them on top of the books and use them for additional marketing purposes. So I always like to layer my stuff up, and I may create another video about how to create 10,000 variable images and this is part of that strategy, right? So and so essentially what I'm doing is I'm selecting the main image. Selecting the main image, and the main image that I like to do is an image that has like a background. Something like this is more feasible, but at the same time it's missing the other side of the shoe, which is kind of fucked up. So I'm gonna have to go with the damn dog, right? Which could be hit or miss. It has nothing to do with my branding. So right now this is just a placeholder image until I decide to create more images, and I'll probably just replace it with a book image in the background with a QR code to make it more marketable. But for right now, I need to be able to see the 32, see the stripes, see the 32, see the stripes, see the tongue, all in one shot, versus this one I cannot see the backside of the shoe. It's only showing the insets of the shoes. And this one, it's a good one, but it's not showing both shoes, right? So honestly, if this one had two, and they got a black and white one. So now I just have to make that decision. Do I want to go with the two shoes and the random dog? And in this case, because it has a black and white one, I know if I put that purple is going to pop with that green. So I'm going to pick this image for that reason. So this is my main image. Then I'm going to click on the additionals, and whatever I did not get on that one, I'm going to go ahead and add them in. So I'm going to add that bad boy in. I'm adding in the random dog, that shot. This shot is a good shot. The two shoes, the back of both shoes, side by side, overlapping. So pretty much I'm just going to add all of them in, because if I'm getting PNGs, then I can use all of these. And if I don't want them to be in the set, then I can go ahead and remove them, right? So we're coming up on 45 minutes. What's next? Let's add some details to this. So we only got 2 steps left. So this is athletic shoes. So I think the last pair of shoe, I called them movement. So I just need to think of a concept of like, what are these going to be called? Because I mean, obviously, anything that I do in the graffiti brand line of shoes, they're going to be all part of the movement. So I have to kind of distinguish between the brands and the sub-brands. So anytime I do a book bag, or if I do the graffiti book bags and the graffiti shoes for the marketing branding, that falls under the movement. This is a whole new classification. It's underneath the notebooks. So I'm just kind of like, what the hell do I call these? And I want it to be on brand, right? So it's movement. What else can I do like this that can work with movement? Like, So, and again, I'm just thinking out loud, so I may sound kind of like slow a little bit, but I'm processing like general keywords to use. So, this is going to be Boss Uncaged. I mean, growth kind of it could work, but it's not there yet. So, I'm going through the variables in my head. I'm like, okay, I did movement. I'm looking at some of the terminology right here: athletic shoes, uniquely soft, padded, blah blah blah. And this is all the information that comes with the shoe. These are potentially made in China. Are they made in China? Collections. So I'm gonna definitely put this under Boss Uncaged. I'm gonna put this under sneakers, and I'm still processing in my head the variables. So there's a sneakers, and I wanted to play into like the notebooks to a certain extent. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to my Amazon, and in Amazon I'm going to type in Boss Uncaged. And this is the other thing too is like once I kind of get these stuff squared away, I could also put them in my Amazon storefront as well. You kind of see you type in Boss Uncaged and all the notebooks come up. So this is the actual notebook. And what I'm doing is I'm skimming in my definition of this notebook to play with the SEO to make sure that it kind of lines up with the actual branding. And unfortunately, it looks like I didn't put the full description in that one. That sucks. So I just need to go to another book, and this one should have the full description and read more. And so that's a little mental note I need to make. Notebook, Uncaged Bosses, Conquer, Procrastination, Actionable, Action, Boss Uncaged, Action, Taking Master, Actionable Notes, Success, Notebook, Perfect, blah, 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 blah. And again, I'm just looking for a word that plays into this notebook. Because again, I'm not going to call a pair of sneakers notebook. All right, because that's not going to work. That's just too much on brand. Conquer. See, Boss Uncaged, Conqueror. The syllables sound so jacked up. Workflow. College rule pages to fit your workflow. Boss Uncaged workflow. So again, I'm sounding it out to make sure that the syllables sound all right for the branding. Let me go back. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to say Boss Uncaged workflow. And make all these. This is just for keywords. And I could always change this later. Again, I'm just doing it for shits and giggles right now. Boss Uncaged workflow, athletic shoes. So workflow kind of gives that nuance of talking about the notebooks and they're designed for workflow, but also workflow within your shoes, talking about work being a keyword. So I'm just playing off of work and flow goes hand in hand with movement. So I can be like, hey, check out our new Boss Uncaged movement and workflow. And again, I'm just thinking about the long-term strategy. How do these words work together and syllables and everything else? So then I just want to write a short description for this. I have software for that. And good old, this is where if you don't know about Copysmith, I'll put Copysmith in there as well too. But Copysmith, and I also have another program that has, it's leveraging ChatGPT. So I could actually pull that one up. And that one is called, I don't remember. Because too much shit in my head. Let me figure it out. If I don't figure it out, then I'll just go with the Copysmith, because the other program is somewhere in here. I don't remember the name of it, so I'll just go with Copysmith. Both of them are running off of ChatGPT at this point in time, as far as getting the information and using AI to create it. So let me just make sure it logs in. Yeah, let's go ahead and log in. Alright, I got like less than 10 minutes. And I just want to show you how quickly I can do this. And for some reason, this damn thing is not loading. Huh. Alright, what's the other one? The other one is called... Damn, I'm having like a complete brain blank for the other software. I'm thinking this one won't let me record it because I'm inside a recording tool. Let me. The other one is it's called email something. Damn. I can't believe I just drew a blank on the damn software, man. It's like this is like the moments where you get into that flow and you break that flow for 2 seconds and you can't remember the damn name of a damn product. And it's probably right here in my face. Writing, is it under writing tools? Copysmith, that's one writing tool. Email marketing, email lists, author, publish, market. I'm surprised it should have been in this list, but it's not in this list. Automatic scripts, is that it? Nope, that's not it. That's another program. But it may be lead scripts. That took too damn long for me to figure out. I wasted like 3 minutes just on figuring out. So yes, this program, Oscar, is nothing more than ChatGPT. It literally sits on top of ChatGPT, and again, I don't have to pay for it because I have a lifetime deal. So I'll put in this command: Boss Uncaged Workflow Athletic Shoes, all the keywords that I want. I'm gonna say, hey, I need you to generate something. This is just my general prompt, and let's see what it does. So it should talk about shoes. It should talk about Boss. It should talk about workflow. It should talk about athletic, and I should be able to get a couple words. Yes, sir. Choose the right size. Check the product description review. Select add shoe to cart. Enter shipping. Confirm. Once the shoe arrives, enjoy your new Boss Uncaged. So that's not exactly what I'm looking for. So I'm going to go down to article writer. Actually, I'm going to go to AI templates. And then what I'm going to do is I wanted to create like not an outline, not a title. I wanted to create a description. So maybe a product description, or a text rewrite, or content rewrite. So I'm going to go with product description, see what comes up. Product, what's your product? Into simple description. So product is that, and I'm just going to put that in there twice just to see what it does. Give it a second for it to generate, and it should just start populating on the screen. Boop, 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 boop. One paragraph so far. Are you looking for stylish yet functional work shoes? Boss Uncaged Workflow Athletic Shoes are perfect for you. These shoes are made with synthetic uppers. So it's describing the shoe. They also come with padded collar, blah, 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 blah. Working comfortable shoes around the house. Boss Uncaged. All right, so this is just kind of describing the shoe. What I want to do is talk more so about Boss Uncaged Workflow shoes. With notebook, and I'm just typing in random keywords, notebook success, and then I'm gonna say, so it knows it's the shoes, it knows it's workflow shoes with notebook and it's success. I'm gonna put a comma in there, and again, I'm just prompting it to pull the keywords that I want it to do, because I do that. I want to get a pretty decent description pretty quickly. Are you looking for a great way to stay organized and productive on the go? There we go, right? Look no further than Boss Uncaged Workflow Athletic Shoes. These shoes come with built-in notebook. So that could be some sales terminology, right? These shoes come with a built-in notebook, so you can take notes and track your progress while you work. Plus, they're comfortable, stylish, so you'll be able to wear them all day long. So what are you waiting for? So it's pretty decent. I just need to change this because, again, it doesn't come with a notebook per se, but again, it gives me the right direction I'm going in. So I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to leave all this gibberish in here. Come to the top. All right, are you looking for a great way to stay organized on the go? Look no further. Boss Uncaged Workflow shoes and notebooks. These shoes are a great addition with your Boss. You capitalize that with your Boss Uncaged Notebook. Again, I'm doing dual marketing here, right? So you could take notes and track your progress while you work. So you can take note and track your, and again, I'm reading it in context. This one, I'll just leave it as is. I could tweak this later. Plus, they're comfortable, stylish, and so you'll be able to wear them all day long. So, what you're waiting for? Order your Boss Uncaged athletic shoes today. Stay active throughout the week. So this is the copy that came in there. Stay active throughout the week and feature soft padded. So I just want to rewrite that. So I'm going to use this platform, which you can't see. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to go to the content rewrite. So with these athletic Boss, I'm going to put in the keyword Boss shoes, stay, so hopefully it picks up on that keyword boss, and it'll rewrite something a little bit more bossier. Yeah, I said that, bossier, like that's a real damn thing, right? Give it a second for it to process. If you're looking for stylish, comfortable, unique athletic Boss shoes are perfect for you with soft, stay active. All right, so it rewritten that copy. Then I'm gonna copy that bad boy, highlighted that, and I'm gonna drop it in. And then break that down. I'm not sure what the hell that fly knit is. It's probably some materials. Add info on demand marketing is benefits for product description. Why not? This product. All right, cool. This is all here. I'm just going to make one. I'm not going to say it's male or female because the sizes are pretty much the same. I did that the first time when I made a male and a female version. I just need to go ahead and update those. So they're unisex, really, truly to tell you about it. So it's Boss Uncaged, sneakers. Type in the keyword purple. All right, visibility, collection. So go to the last step, which is pricing. And I was saying I want it to be about 67 or something like that. So we're talking about the margins here. So let's say they're 45. And again, I'm just doing this for shits and giggles. So if you get them at this price now, well, great for you because they may change down the road. So I'm just going to put them at $67.95 to make both shoes comparable price wise, because again, it's not necessarily about margins, it's more so about marketing and paying for them. Apply. So pretty much per shoe, $22.95, and obviously I have to do ad spend and all that will come out of here. So eventually these shoes will probably be more reasonable at like $80 something, so I can have $40 worth of margins to kind of play with the marketing strategy and everything else. So in this case, I'm just doing it for $22.95 and pricing set. And so the back end of this, once I hit submit to store, I have the RSS feed for this store that's automatically going to grab this new product, and then this product is going to be shipped to LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everything collectively, right? So it's all going to come into fruition once I hit the next. So one other thing I need to do, I need to add on the details, is I'm going to go back into the details really quick, and I'm going to add the link, which you can't see off screen right now, is I'm adding a link to the notebooks. So I'm just going to put in, if you want notebooks, I just need to make sure I put in the store. Collect them all is my keyword. Just give me one second. I'm just looking for, there they are. I see the terminology to go with it. So Boss Uncaged is a resource, notebooks, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to put this in the bottom. I'm just going to put it in like asterisk stars, blah, 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 just to call some attention to it. I'm going to put that copy in there that came directly about the notebooks. And then I'm going to put a call of action inside the call of action to say collect them all. I'm going to put the hardcover and the softcover links in there. And then I'm also going to put the terminology call of action, which is collect them all, or whatever, get them all. If you buy, unlock the potential, gather them all, get them all. So I'm just going to put get them all, just as a kind of like Pokemon, right? Get them all. Boom, that's squared away. Going back to pricing pricing should be done, $67.95, and I'm going to submit. So in exactly 59 minutes and 30 seconds, I'm submitting this bad boy to the store in exactly 1 hour flat. Skip this at this time, and you can see the product is uploading, and hopefully it'll be synced. I got 15 seconds for this bad boy to sync and for me to cancel this video. So again, thank you for watching this video. This is S.A. Grant signing off, over and out. And I'm pissed that I still got 2 seconds and it's still uploading, and now I'm over. It's such a disappointment. Time management completely sucks. Completely sucks. So it's still processing. Now we're at 1 hour and 10 seconds. So close to being perfect. But again, you have to keep in mind, nothing will be perfect. I'm sure those shoes, once I go ahead and order them now, they're probably not going to be perfect. But, you know, just let it upload. Upload. And it should be done here shortly. So again, if you have any questions about this process, keep in mind, like, I started this exactly an hour ago with no intents of design or visual. So the shoes are essentially done. Now I can view it in my Shopify store. We'll go to view Shopify. And this is the part that I just wanted to make sure you guys can see it. Everything in the store is there. Now I have Boss Uncaged workflow athletic shoes. Woo! Oh Lord Jesus, it's the fire. And then you can see the shoe. You can hover over it. You can see the 32 in there. You can see the logo. What's that 32 for? It's because I designed 32 notebooks in 32 days in the first month of 2023. 2 and 3, flipping across 32. I sound like Rain Man, I know. Click on this other shoe. Okay, it's looking good, clean. Click on this one. You can see the 32. So now you kind of see why I picked the different images. Everything is in there. So again, based upon the RSS feed, this is a new product, and now this new product is going to be live on all my social media feeds without me having to do anything. And also my description, the pricing, all of that will just go live as well. Only other thing I'm missing in here is obviously the tie-in to put in the actual notebook kind of behind the scenes, but I'll make that loud and clear through this video and through other content. And obviously there's other things in here, right? So you're looking for blah, 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 blah. You kind of see all that content in here. There goes the other content I was talking about. This, I probably need to go back in and make them active links. But if nothing else, someone can actually copy that and put it in. So if someone copies it and puts it in the browser, and again, I will make an active link to make it a little bit easier. In my case, I'm already logged in. So I'm just going to say these are all the products. Should be able to go to manage products, and this is what they're going to see on their end. So it's going to be an entire page that shows you all the products listed, and I can just view storefront, because the goal here is to cross-reference, right? So I'm cross-referencing the shoes with the books, with the service. No matter where you go, no matter what platform, ideally, if you type in the keyword Boss Uncaged, 1 or 2 or 3 of these damn things should come up, right? So that's a growth marketing strategy. Not to say at its finest, but at its collection of development in the process of what I'm doing. So again, I went over 2 minutes. Shoot me. S.A. Grant. Over and out.